The IMC Podcast is here to motivate and excite you about reading the Bible while in your corner. With that said, we highly encourage you to draw your own conclusions based on your personal findings in the scriptures as you journey with us on our conversations of the individual biblical characters. The views expressed by the guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of our sponsors or who they represent. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and keep going. Like, subscribe, and share. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the In My Corner podcast. I'm your host D, and with me my co-host Richard and our special guest Alex. A little bit about him: he is a missionary who pastored for 7 years. He's been overseas in Africa, and he told me a lot of adventures and opened my eyes to do some mission field work as well. But I'm happy to have him on, and as always, we like to start with the icebreaker. All right. So last episode we had Kenneth. Shout out to Kenneth. He brought on a question for you. We talked about the prophet Samuel and talking about his calling as a child. And the question that he has for you is fast forwarding with his sons, right? Complete, like polar opposites to who he was. Mm-hmm. The question is, where did he go wrong, or did he go wrong, and how he, disciple his sons or whatnot? What's your take on that?
He said he talked to you already, so you're gonna answer this in 1 minute.
He talked to me already. No,
He's teasing.
No, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Okay.
Wow.
Those of you that are doubting, this is the first time he heard the question. So
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I would imagine that he probably learned to do things a little bit differently than Eli, because for all intents and purposes, he was raised by Eli.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Eli had the same issue with his children.
2 sons, yeah.
And to some extent, we see the pattern that even though Eli is not his father, but by this process of beholding you become,
Mm-hmm.
we know that it's something that is really difficult to escape from. And so I feel that Samuel made probably some improvements over Eli, but at the end of the day still made many of the same mistakes that Eli did, because that's the only example he really had. And so I would say that we don't have as much information about where Samuel went wrong as we do for Eli.
Yeah.
So all I would say is that I think that many of the mistakes that Eli made, we could probably see Samuel made.
That's fair.
And that's the shortest answer that I can give you.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
That's a fair answer. Yeah.
That's fair. Because we can even dive into today's pastors or ministry leaders and their children.
Mm-hmm.
How sometimes they're completely opposite from their parents, or sometimes it goes so well, and then you have a pastor's kid who becomes a pastor, and then 3rd generation pastor, 4th generation pastor, but then some don't even make it to the 1st generation. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes your mentors do count.
But we see that there is improvement through the successive generations. So like by the time that Saul comes around, and even David, like you have a Ahitub, which is like the grandson of Eli, and he's doing a whole lot better. Like he seems to be a pretty legit guy.
Yeah.
And so sometimes these things they skip a generation, and so while you'll see the mistakes of the parents oftentimes perpetuated within the children, it's not a guarantee. There are ways to escape, and I think that God offers us ways to escape the kind of cycle of the repetitive sins that the generations can end up committing, in like manner like their parents. And I think the answer to that is probably in Exodus 34. He says, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the 34th generation of those that hate me. And before that, it was all good stuff.
It was.
It was all good stuff. And then he adds this in there. But if you're a logical person, then you say, well, how do I escape this cycle? Well, you need a new father. if you're going to commit the sins of the father, then the only way to break the cycle is by having another father.
Yeah.
Okay.
One who doesn't sin. This is a short answer, right? That's the most logical answer.
Yeah.
And so God says, I will be a father to you. Does God sin? No. And so for as many as come to him, he gives them new habits, a new father with whom they could reflect.
Yeah.
And he begins to break that cycle. So it ends somewhere.
Yeah.
It always ends with God.
Yeah.
It always ends with God.
Yeah. Man. Well, that was a good answer. Hope, Kenneth, you're satisfied with that answer. And today we have a special character, a spicy one, a juicy one, I would say. All right. And as always, Richard, do the honors, man. Introduce
A
him.
juicy one. Have you discussed Saul before?
We've never.
Never. Oh, I gave the name away. All right. So if you're watching us right now, or if you're listening, today we bring to you the almighty, head and shoulders taller than everyone who was at the time in Israel, than anyone that could be and was perfect for a king according to the people. So, but today, would you be tempted to pick up a fight if you heard he was a better Christian than you today?
He was. I just
Let's unpack that.
he is. I mean, I don't want anybody to get upset.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, he's a better Christian than I am. And I just have to look at his life, and I have to admit that. And I think there's a number of reasons for that. And of course, we're going to take the way that Saul started his life.
Yeah.
And if you look at the way he started his life, he had amazing qualities.
Oh, yeah.
Phenomenal qualities. But then he had two major pitfalls that led him down like this path of like being totally lost and almost completely destroying his family. And it was two major sins. And the reason that I still think he's a better Christian despite these two major sins is because he has more justification for these two major sins than we do, and we have the same two major sins. So he has more qualities, and he has more justification for the two things that we all suffer from.
Man.
We don't even come close.
I'm not, probably not.
No, man.
Okay, take us through it.
Yeah.
I can't speak for you, right? But I'm looking at myself, and if, yes, I do look at other people in the world. I don't judge them, but I have the general feel of how things are within the church, within Christianity. And yeah, I feel that most of us fall pretty far short of where Saul was. In terms of qualities and compromise.
Compromise.
I think he had more reason to compromise than we do. We compromise a whole lot more for a whole lot less. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't really pick Saul as an example, but I like to pick Saul as an example because we always like people who are perfect, or at least we can make them seem perfect.
Right.
But quite frankly, neither of us are.
And I think each time you're picking someone, a character from the Bible or a role model, we talk about the good parts,
the highlights,
right? The highlights. What makes them the good person? What makes them a better Christian? But what about the things that still makes them a better Christians, but are not necessarily good?
Right. Well, I mean, I think most of us, I'll be honest with you, I think we learn more from negative experiences than we do from positive ones.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And we'll learn more from our mistakes than we will from the things we do well or that other people tell us right to do.
Absolutely.
So there's tons of people who will give us good advice, and we more often than not don't listen to it. We have to fall flat on our face, and then we're like, oh yeah, right? Like that's how we typically learn. So I don't know why we wouldn't look at these characters. Like you look at other religious books and they give you like the shiny version. But the Bible is like, I had a Muslim friend of mine ask me like, wow, the Bible seems like drama pornography. And I'm like,
those are strong words, man.
And he said that to me. And I'm like, well,
cool.
Because he's like, it reveals so much of the dirtiness of mankind. Like the Quran doesn't have that, right? It just kind of washes everybody clean, and it only shows you the good parts of it. And I said, well, God is not trying to hide the evil of mankind. He's trying to reveal it because it is through those things that we understand ourselves. We can now be like, if you were honest, at least we can be like, yeah, that's what I'm prone to. right? So it doesn't gloss over any of the mistakes. Like it highlights them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like it makes it
yeah.
very prominent.
Yeah.
To the point where even David, who's a favorite character for many people, including myself, God chooses in his time, not just to us, but in his time to make his sin public.
Yeah.
In many cases, God doesn't make the sin public. But in David's case, he says, for you, I'm going to let the whole kingdom know.
You're not getting away with this.
Right? And so God is not about hiding sin.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to understand, because we oftentimes within our day and age, we try to hide sin, right?
Yeah.
We want to protect an image. But we got to be careful about that, because we know about what it's like making an image. We're actually breaking a commandment and making an image.
Yeah.
And so we would rather protect the image than the reality. And God is like, I don't care about the image.
Yeah.
Let's go for the reality.
Yeah.
So let's just reveal it.
Yeah.
Because it's only through the light shining in the darkness, when the darkness is exposed, that any progress can be made.
Yeah. It's not light when it's not shining.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. If you hide something, you're technically leaving it in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So God's not about hiding. He's about revealing.
Yeah.
So up to this point, we're like getting into Saul, and you're like, who is Saul?
Yeah, there's a lot about Saul. We'll probably skip a whole lot. I mean, I got notes here just to kind of remind me.
Yeah.
Right?
Take us to it.
Okay. So let's look at the good part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 Samuel chapter 9. We'll read a little bit about Saul.
Yeah.
And, we're not going to read the whole chapter. I'm going to highlight just some verses. But let's go ahead and just start. Maybe we can read like the first 5.
Okay.
All right?
So 1 Samuel chapter
9.
Chapter 9.
Yeah. And I don't know if one of you guys want to read the first 5 verses.
Okay.
Yeah, D, you want to take it?
Yeah. The first 5 verses, I'm reading from the NASB. It says, Now there was a man of Benjamin whose name was Kish, the son of Abdiel, the son of Zeror, the son of Bechorath, the son of Aphiah, the son of a Benjamite, a mighty man of valor. He had a son whose name was Saul, a choice and handsome man, and there was not a more handsome person than he among the sons of Israel. From his shoulders and up he was taller than any of the people. Now the donkeys of Kish, Saul's father, were lost. So Kish said to his son Saul, Take now with you one of the servants, and arise, go search for the donkeys. He passed through the hill country of Ephraim, and passed through the land of Shalisha, but they did not find them. Then they passed through the land of Shalim, but they were not there. Then he passed through the land of the Benjamites, but they did not find them. When they came to the land of Zuph, Saul said to his servants who was with him, Come and let us return, or else my father will cease to be concerned about the donkeys, and he will become anxious for us.
All right. So when we read this story, right, we see that Saul, the first thing that we pick up about Saul was that he's tall and he's handsome.
Yeah.
That's what most people pick up.
Than any other person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we need to know.
Right? Is that right? I was like, is a lady reading this? She needs to know he's got long flowing locks and
Mercy.
nice muscles, and he's busting out of his shirt. Like what?
Yeah.
But we skip over the fact that his father had lost something. And his father sends him with the express command, find that which I've lost. And Saul goes out to seek diligently for what his father has lost.
Yeah.
Right? And when you read verse 4, you see that this guy passed through a lot of places. He covered tremendous amounts of territory, the entire territory of Benjamin and a bit beyond, to find donkeys. So he's obedient to his father, but he's also seeking that which his father has lost. Does that sound familiar to anything? Right?
Yeah.
What is God's command to us as our Father? To seek and save the lost, as Jesus did. Right? That's what Jesus came to do. That's what he's called us to do. And we're supposed to go searching for the donkeys.
Oh my.
Why? Because that's the way that we're all kind of like.
Oh my.
Right? We're the donkeys.
Yeah.
We got lost.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jesus uses nicer terms. He uses sheep. But I think in many cases we probably behave more like donkeys. Right?
Yeah.
But it goes to show you that this was something that Saul valued because his father valued it. Right? And it's an obedience to his father. It's a desire to actually save that which his father has lost.
Yeah.
And he also shows great diligence in making sure that he covers every corner of the territory
Absolutely.
to say, hey, I've done everything that I can.
Yeah.
But he understands that there's so much you can do. And so now in verse 5, he understands the limits of one's ministry. He says, I've done all that we can, right? Speaking to his servant, we've done all that we can. But now I'm afraid that if we continue to search, our father will begin to be worried about us.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how many people within the church understand the limits of ministry? Oh, I'm just working for the Lord. I'm just doing this, and they get burnt out. So many people leave the ministry, and in missionaries, I've seen so many people in the mission field that abandon the mission because they get burnt out.
You know, I've come to love this phrase, busy for nothing.
Busy for
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to recognize the limits in ministry. We just keep going, and then we leave everything else behind.
Yeah. We think it's like a badge of honor, right?
The
Right,
more I
but-
work, yeah.
But Saul was a wise man. He's like, no, like our father cares for us more. While he gave me a mission, right? While he sent us out, I know that he's thinking about us every day.
Yeah.
And we've been gone for many days. We've done all that we can. We've not succeeded in what he's called us to do. But if we come back, he's not going to be upset. He's going to be happy that we're back home.
Yes.
At least we're checking in with him.
Exactly. So he understands that there's limits to ministry.
Yes.
Right? There's a reason, like, you can't just care for others, you also have to care for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Father cares for you. And so he doesn't want you to burn yourself out for the sake of others, right?
Yeah.
He wants you to always come in, check in, understand the limits of ministry, and then when you're ready again, go back out.
Yeah.
Right? There's one of my favorite chapters in Desire of Ages is come apart and rest a while or come apart.
I say that again, please.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, come apart and rest a while or come apart.
Yeah.
Right?
You definitely don't want the last one.
Yeah. So Jesus, there's a verse where Jesus says, come apart and rest a while. So they went apart to rest for a while. Right? So Jesus does that because he understands that even he needs to reconnect with the Father. He can't just keep on pouring out. He needs to take time to be filled.
Yeah.
Right? And the moments where he has the biggest decisions is the moments that he spends the closest and the longest with the Father in order to get that power to be able to pour himself out.
So if I'm getting you right, in ministry, we cannot be far off that we lose connection with the Father.
Yeah. Because at some point, I think most people are so busy doing work for God that they cease to do work with God. Right? And God says, I'm the primary worker.
That hit me right there. Yeah.
Give him time to process. Give him time to process.
Yeah, ministry with God. Yeah. That got me right there.
Listen, the Pharisees came to Jesus and they accused him of working on the Sabbath. And Jesus tells them something, right? My Father works, and hitherto I work.
Yeah.
So God is basically saying, I've asked you to rest, but I don't. Because if I stop working, everything falls apart.
Right.
Yeah.
So who's the one who works?
God.
God is the one who works.
Yeah.
We get to join in his labors. He doesn't join us in ours.
Right. Yeah.
Most of our prayers is, Lord, we're about to do this, be with us, which is fine. All I'm saying is that too much of that, we can get used to the fact that God is just going to couple himself with our ministry as opposed to us
He's
always
just
going
gonna
to
join
Jesus. Yeah. More often than not, we have need to go to him to get what we have need of, so that when we say, Lord, we're about to go work, please be with us, we can say that in confidence because we've spent time with him and we know that he sent us there.
Yeah.
It's not something that we've chosen to do ourselves. Right? So it's a balance between this. It's not like, oh, you can't ever say, Lord, join me in what I'm doing. It's, you can, but did you get that directive from God? Or are you just asking him like, Lord, I've thought about my own plans, right? And I've done my own program in my own way with my own intelligence and my own wisdom. Now I want you to bless it. And then God's like, it's not exactly how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
How about you come and get that from me? And then you can come up with some ideas based off of our time together. And then I'll join you.
Yeah.
Right? It's so Saul understands that.
Yeah, he does.
Saul is a balanced guy.
Yeah.
He does everything he can up to the point where he realizes now he needs to go back to the Father. Okay?
Yeah.
You cannot say he did not try. You can't. Because he did.
He did.
He did. Right? Look at the territory he covered. He did.
Yeah, a lot.
But he also knows when to stop. All right? So now we're going to read verse 6 onward.
Wait, before we go there.
Yeah, go
just
for it.
Very quickly. Do you think in this scenario, the servants also had the right, lack of the better word, to say, you know what, Saul, we need to stop. We have to go back? Or you think that it was on the part of Saul to say that?
So I can't speak to the relationship of everyone and their servants. God, through the law of Moses, created a relationship or kind of a standard of way of treating servants in the way that it was kind of like family. But even though that was God's directive, I can assure you that that's not the way that everybody followed it.
Got you.
But as far as we can tell, in chapter 9, his relationship with his servant is one of trust.
Okay.
And he listens to the advice of his servant. And they seem more like friends, maybe even brothers in the way that they interact from what little we have. There doesn't seem to be any level of kind of force of authority or any kind of power struggle between them. They seem to be on pretty equal footing in the way that they're able to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And so in verse 6, one of those things is revealed. This is the servant speaking now in verse 6. He says, he said unto him, behold, now there is in the city a man of God, and he is an honorable man, and all that he says comes surely to pass. Now let us go there, peradventure that he can show us our way that we should go. And then Saul responds to him in verse 7. He says to his servant, but behold, if we go, what shall we bring the man? For the bread is spent in our vessels, and there is nothing to present to the man of God. What do we have? Right? So the servant says to Saul, Saul, you want to go back? There's one more thing we can do.
Okay.
There's this guy, man of God, in this city. Everything he says comes to pass. Maybe if we go to him, we can get some answers. And Saul isn't unwilling to listen to him. Saul basically looks at himself, and now he's revealing another one of his great traits that some of us could use a little more of. He recognizes he has nothing to give to the man of God.
Nothing left in me.
He has nothing to offer the man of God.
Yeah.
He has nothing to offer the man of God. What do we have to offer God?
Nothing. Nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
So he recognizes his own spiritual lack. Right? Right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. He recognizes his own spiritual poverty. Right? He's fulfilling the Beatitudes. Right? And so the servant responds to him in verse 8. Right? It says, the servant answered Saul again and said, behold, I have here at the hand a fourth part of a shekel of silver. That will I give to the man of God to tell us our way. So the servant is now willing to give of what he has.
Right.
So he's got this bit of money left over, right? And he says, I've got this. We can offer this. And Saul's like, well, let's just give him all that we have. Okay. So this is when we come to Jesus, we have to recognize we have nothing. And what little we do have, we have to give everything. And we have to be willing to give everything. And Saul says, all right, what little we have, let's give it all. That we may fulfill the commandment in obedience to our Father. Right?
Yeah.
These are such small things.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about huge things. We're talking about donkeys, and we're talking about like a few pieces of silver. Right? This is, or even less than that. Like, this is not like on a big scale. This is a very small scale. And yet he's like, let's just give it let's go all out, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just a phenomenal guy. Like, this is, and I know that we don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to kind of go through like a bunch of stuff. He goes to the town, and in verse 11, he sees women at the well. He asks them for directions. I want you to just think about that for a second. Men don't usually ask women for directions, especially within that culture. But he doesn't really care. So he goes to the women, talks to the women, asks them for direction, says he's willing to be sent in the right direction. Right? So he's not making a difference. He's not partial, right? It's all the same to him. He just wants to know. he asks for a second opinion in verse 18. And then in verse 21, I want to read just a little bit here because we're getting to the end of chapter 9. Because chapter 9 and chapter 10 are his good chapters, right? The good part of his life. So in verse 21, he goes and he's asking for the donkeys, and he meets with Samuel, and Samuel basically tells him, like, all the desire of Israel's on you. And this is Saul's response in verse 21. He says, Saul answered and said, am I not a Benjamite of the smallest of the tribes of Israel, and my family the least of all the families of the tribe of Benjamin? Wherefore do you speak this way to me? So the man of God is basically looking at Saul and says, the desire of all of Israel is on you. Because why? They've asked for a king. And Saul's showing up like completely surprised, and he's like, I am not only of the least tribe, but I'm of the least family within the least tribe.
In conclusion, the least of the least.
The least of the least, right? And we can see that in his behavior, because he's going searching for donkeys and offering like a few pennies for information. Like he doesn't, there's nothing that would puff him up. I mean, we look at that, he's so tall and he's so handsome. But the way that he views himself is very differently. And the way that he carries himself is not in relation to the way that he looks.
Yeah.